What's up, YouTube? You are officially watching Jay video number 3. Y'all know how I do. I just get on here and just start talking about some stuff that I either just got finished dealing with or some stuff that I just kind of wanted to touch on real quick. And I did just kind of deal with a situation that I kind of want to touch on. And it basically stems around just ultimately being real with yourself. My pastor talked about in church Sunday. He said that sometimes you have to choose between doing what's good for you and what's best for you, because a lot of times the things that we do in life or the things that we say in life or the things we get ourselves into, it's not necessarily bad for us, but it's just not what's best for us. So you kind of have to choose between what's good and what's best. I recently just got out of a very, very hectic and emotionally stressful relationship that I don't think that I have allowed myself time to heal from completely. I went, without going into great detail about it, I'll just say that I went through a lot in that situation, and I allowed myself to go through a lot in that situation. But throughout the course of that, I tried to get into another relationship, but I was not completely healed from the previous situation. So I ended up carrying a lot of negative emotional baggage with me, and it did not work out. But the sad part about it is that I did not realize it until basically that relationship kind of started, not want to say turn sour, but you know, some things were going on that I didn't like, and it made me start kind of reminiscing about the last relationship that I just gotten out of. And no, I don't just go jumping around from relationship to relationship. These relationships had a pretty good length between them. But it was just it was that the relationship that I was originally in was so traumatic for me that it takes longer to get over certain things than most minute things. Nonetheless, to make the story short, because I cared about this person so much, I was attempting to make myself get over it faster because I wanted to be with this person tremendously. But in the course of my selfishness, I started to see that I was not ready for a relationship. And you know, naturally, when you're dating someone and then, you know, you start talking to, oh, it's not you, it's me, they think that you're lying to them. But I really wasn't lying to this person. I really, honestly, was not ready for a relationship. Am not ready for a relationship. And I needed to get out. I had to get out, not just for me, but for that person, because what I'm learning is that anytime you're in a situation where emotionally things are not on the same little, you know, whatever, and somebody is emotionally up here and the other person is emotionally down here, what ends up happening is that somebody ends up starting to resent somebody or control them or hate them. And I didn't want that from this person at all. I didn't want it for me to that person or from that person to me. I didn't want either one of those things, because this is a great person. And at the end of the day, I still wanted to be friends with this person, but I could not. I just couldn't let go, basically. I was scared because I didn't want to hurt that person's feelings. That person went through a lot for me. A lot of emotional changes and a lot of emotional, just everything. That person tried to change for me, but it just would not work. Because at the end of the day, it had nothing to do with that person. It was all about me. And what I want to say is that there are so many people out there, even people that are probably going to watch this video, you are not ready for relationship. You have been hopping from relationship to relationship to relationship, and you have never taken the time to, number one, get healed from the previous situation, and number two, ultimately, to deal with you and your demons and figure out what makes you tick, so that when you go into relationships, you won't just be in there carrying baggage with you, and, you know what I'm saying, thinking that, you know, oh, I'm about to be in a relationship, oh, woo, and you're really not ready for one. You know, like I said, my pastor talked about doing what's good and what's best for you. And even though this was a very good relationship, nothing bad, traumatically bad happened in this relationship, I understood that I just was not ready for a relationship. I just wasn't. It had nothing to do with me playing games. It had nothing to do with me going and talking to nobody else. It had nothing to do with, you know what I'm saying, me wanting to go out and sow my royal oats and start chit-chatting it up with a whole bunch of other people. No, it had nothing to do with that. It was honestly just time for me to say, what does Jay like? What does Jay want? Let's make it happen. Because at the end of the day, if I'm looking for somebody else to come and start fulfilling me and start making my dreams come true for me, I will never be fulfilled, because those things I'm supposed to do, I'm equipped to do those things. I'm equipped to handle those things. So I don't need to be looking for nobody to come in and whisk me away and make me feel all special and great and wonderful. I don't need all of that. I need to do that for myself. So when I get into a relationship, I'm not a burden. I'm not baggage. I'm not a liability. When I get in a relationship, I am an asset to that person. I add value. I come into the relationship saying, this is what I have. And I'm not necessarily talking about finances, because at the end of the day, finances, you can deal with finances. Emotions is what breaks up relationships. Well, one of the things anyway. I mean, finances and stuff do it too, but you know, whatever. I'm talking about emotions right now. I'm talking about you come into this relationship and you having a hard time trusting because your last girlfriend or your last boyfriend cheated on you. You don't need to be in a relationship if you coming in with that kind of baggage, because now this person got to come in and deal with all of your junk. Now they got to work overtime for you to trust them. That ain't fair. That's not fair. It's not fair to you, and it definitely ain't fair to them. So y'all, at the end of the day, we all want to be loved. We all want to feel like we got this special somebody, but not at the price of sacrificing what little bit of yourself you're holding on to just to make something work, especially if it don't want to work. You know, I was watching a TV show. I can't remember what I was watching, but the dude was like, if you're in a relationship and you always have to look at it like, if this relationship doesn't work, am I going to be okay afterwards? Am I going to be able to take that? Am I going to be left with less after the relationship is over than when I first came into the relationship? If you look at it like that, and you looking at it like, okay, no, I can't do, then you can't do that. You can't do that if you're going to end up coming out with less. If you cannot continue to live your life, if the relationship ends and you can't pick up where you left off, you don't need to be in a relationship, because that means you are too incomplete of a person to be in a relationship. Don't look for somebody to come in and, you know, make you feel better. Don't look for somebody to come in and complete you. You should already be complete when you're coming to a relationship. Relationships is about merging. It's a one complete person, another complete person coming together. Not you being 2/3 or 1/2 of a person, and this whole person got to come in and be a whole nother half for you. That don't work. So y'all, do what's best for you. Do what's best, not what's good and not what's working out right now. Don't settle for temporary convenience, because it ultimately leads to permanent destruction. So y'all, get it together, y'all. Emotions are a very powerful thing. They can make or break any type of relationship, work relationship, friendship, business, financial, whatever the case may be. They can make or break any situation. Get your emotions in check before you start going off into any ventures or anything like that. Make sure you are straight. Until next time, y'all, my release, your relief. You watching Jay. Peace out.